end of the room has also had an adjustment where there was a couple of collectibles that were actually placed behind the laser station, which has now been corrected to one collectible right in the middle, sitting in the back. Also, this is really used in the area of control. Better go ahead and do
Hello, my name is Don Polk, and this is the beta version of my map, Overgrown Plantation. In this beta version, I've added textures and a few assets that were not in the alpha. So the player will start off by searching the house. They can use the blocks that are tinted in red and use the grab knoll to move them and climb. Once they're in place, the player can crouch down on top of one and climb through the window. There's a few collectibles on the first floor of the house, but the main objective would be to find the secret switch which will allow access to the basement. Once the player gains access to the basement, they can find a few more collectibles down here, and also the boxes down here are also tinted in red, showing the player that they can be accessed with a grab knoll. The player will be able to move a piece of the wall, revealing a secret room where they can find the barn door handles to give them access to the barn once they find a few more items. After finding the handles, the player can now exit the house. When the player first tried, the door was locked, but from the inside the player can use the door to exit. There's a few collectibles in the courtyard the player can also find. The player will next go to the shed. There's a few collectibles in here as well, but the player will have to move the bookcase out of the way to gain access to a secret door. Once inside, the player will find the hammer, which they can use inside the barn to help find the sword. From the shed, they will head to the crop field. Once inside the crop field, the player will find 3 boulders that are also tinted red, showing them that they can be moved with a grab knoll. Once the player finds the picture, they will be able to exit the crop field and enter the barn. Before this point, the player will not be able to enter the barn without the 3 objects that they found. There's a few collectibles in the bottom of the barn, but the main objective is in the loft. Once upstairs, the player will be able to first move the barrels out of the way using the grab knoll. Once the player has successfully moved the barrels out of the way, they can move the bookcase. And then they can use the hammer to remove the board on the wall to find the sword. Once the player finds the sword, they can now exit the barn and head towards the next area. player will notice that the gate that was closed earlier is now open, which opens when the player finds the sword.
Okay, this is Brian Bigner, and this is my area. So, starting with the first objective, very simple, but it's compounded on very quickly. This pedestal gives infinite blocks, and then you can just throw them at the targets, and that opens doors. Very simple, but it gets compounded on very quickly. For this setup, you can step on that block, or that target rather, and this gate opens. But if you want to get to the first gate, so you have to go under here, go around, and interesting. So I mean this setup is this video is not the one that we're going with for a variety of reasons. Obviously the textures, also I had to tell Seth after the fact that you can actually throw the blocks, which is admittedly an obscure piece of the control scheme, but without doing it, it makes this level basically impossible. You can see that you're supposed to follow the wire around, and you can see it gets out to there, but without knowing how to throw this, this setup becomes basically impossible. Also, it looks like the pedestal for spawning infinite blocks was malfunctioning a little bit, or the level blocking mesh in it wasn't working, which he had to refresh. But yeah, without knowing how to open the gate, he'll have to gun through there. Becomes a recurring theme. In this setup, a lot simpler. You just have to balance across these very thin platforms to get to the other side. There's not a lot of death. There's nothing that really hurts you in this level. The only way to really fall off is to jump off and fall into the water. So this next setup, it's first very similar. You can also, the gates in this one are timed such that you can't just shoot it, and you have to be close enough to the target. You have to be close enough to the door when the door opens so that you can run through. Unfortunately, that distance is too far for you to be over there and then run through. So without the knowledge to throw blocks, this level becomes pretty impossible. This level becomes pretty impossible. He'll struggle with it, but then eventually give up, I think. He also discovers that you can hit it with the which is a thing I have to fix. So yeah. He was streaming this, and this especially was very frustrating to watch. Oh, you got it. I thought you gave up. Oh, geez. Should be able to try and bounce up there. This setup, you just have to climb up these thin beams to this area. So that can happen. You have to climb up to that area, then get that large block. The large block is a little different from the small block in that it can also be used to jump up on the block to get to higher platforms, like you have to use it in this circumstance. Just to jump up top on there and jump up on there. Oh, that's a problem. You should be able to get off to the side though. Should probably fix that. Just jump up on there, and there you go. For this setup, you just have to go across these thin platforms, and just that gate on the other side is timed, so you just have to get across. For this setup, you have to pull those blocks out, and then that should give you a platform to go up on the ramp on the right, and then jump across. The problem is, I think when he was running this, he didn't increase the gravinal, the grab strength of the gravinal. So these were a little finicky before. But these were a little finicky before we upped the grab strength, so he struggles with them for a while. And I think he eventually gives up. But you can see on the other video, the one that we're actually submitting, that this problem is fixed. Not for lack of trying. And he pushes it in also. Yeah, I think the way it actually works is you're supposed to stand there and use it. You're also supposed to, I think, angle the gravinal upward, and it was working a little better. It was a problem that I came across, and I fixed it by increasing the gravinal strength. So yeah, he uses God mode to get up there. Also gets that silver scrap like a cheater. Then you just crouch under that gate and on to the next area. For this setup, what you got to do is take that block, use it to get up onto this higher reach of platforms. Then also you have to bring that block with you to weigh down to weigh down a switch on the other side so that you can get through. But again, doing this without the ability to throw is pretty tough. I think you have to navigate that while also jumping. Oh, geez, turn bounce up there too? But yeah. I don't know. Oh, even worse. Usually you really can't die in there, so that's why I didn't add a checkpoint after the crooked building. Because really, what if you respawn there? You respawn there. Or you die in this section, you really just have to jump across the platforms that you've already pulled out for yourself. So I didn't really feel the need to add a checkpoint after it. I also did it by doing the trick that I have to fix. You hold it down with the grapnel. So this next bit, what you have to do is go across the thin beams while holding a small cube, because there's a target over there that you can kind of see that there's a wire leading out onto that. It might be kind of tough for him to do. I'm not sure how he does it without the ability to throw. So you just gotta navigate this area. He doesn't have to use the cube, it's already over there. He doesn't have to get a new cube, but oh well. Just gotta grab cube, kind of contend with this obstacle. And then on the other side of that panel, there is a to the right return. I did also add a collectible over there. Not sure how he's going to be able to. I'm trying just to use momentum to do it. Or he'll jump and use the grab and I'll do that. Next, he has to kind of set up. He thinks he can weigh that down, but that doesn't work. Does it work? Oh no, he's standing on it, that's why. He's got to use that cube to. First, he's got to pull out that panel, kind of in where that crevasse is, that inlay. That one. Just pull that out to get up there, and then use the cube. All the things are red. All the gravel and all objects are red. You should know that. Can you use the cube to get up there? I don't think so. That's interesting. You might try jumping from the cube on on the panel since it's a little bit higher. I have no idea. I guess he forgot that all the cubes are red, so he hasn't tried pulling that out yet. By this point, I'm sure he's very frustrated with this level. I can't entirely blame him. Okay, so last bit. You have to get the 3 scrap from around the summit. The first one, he thinks he has to, like, really, without being the knowledge of being able to throw objects, I think all 3 of these are, well, 2 of the 3 are pretty much impossible. So he thinks he can weigh down that with the that button with the cube, but that's not the case. What you're supposed to do is you're supposed to stand on the that button, and that gate will open, revealing another target. Then you're supposed to use a small cube because the large cubes actually won't reach if you throw them. You're supposed to use a small cube to you're supposed to throw a small cube at the target that is revealed, and that target will open the door on the right. And you just use the big cube up there like he's doing, and go around and pick up the gold scrap that's up there. Without the knowledge of that you can throw objects, I'm not entirely sure what his plan is. Yeah, that gate opens immediately, so yeah, he gives up. For this setup, again, he's going to have to throw a cube. You can see that there's a target up there that's connected to a door on the floor. You just have to, the door will open and close immediately as the target gets activated. It will open and close immediately. So you have to stand on the door. You have to stand on the gate as you throw it. As you throw the cube at the target, and then it will just open, you fall, and then it closes behind you. And there's a piece of gold scrap down there. But not sure. I'm not even sure you can reach the cube by like jumping. Or I don't think you can reach the target by jumping. So I think he gives up on this one quickly. I mean, I was watching him do this, and it was the fact that he didn't know that you could throw with the cubes was pretty frustrating. I think at this point he kind of gives up, and God modes to get over here, I guess. The third setup was the first setup. Just goes around, picks up that gold scrap. That third setup, which I think he just goes straight to, you're supposed to just use a cube. You're supposed to use the large cube to get up onto that brown, the brown thing. Oh, and I think he jumps over it, which I did not think was possible. I was very frustrated that he was able to do that. I could have sworn that was not possible. But yeah, then he would use the cube to get up onto that, to get up there, and then then bring the cube with him to get up onto the platform that he's sort of struggling with right now. And that's how you grab that scrap. From there, he's just got to descend the mountain. Which I think. Which. Just gotta go that way. And contend with this. Contend with that gap. Oh. Because he just got those over there. He's very clearly frustrated by this point. And I can't really blame him. I don't know what he's doing. He's looking for the gold scrap. Well, anyway, you jump over there, and you can actually use that if you use that cube and hit the target and open this gate. That actually loops back to the beginning of the level if you need to go back for any scraps or anything. But I think he sees this and promptly gives up. So the path to the next level, you just have to pull this red bit out, which is a little bit time friction, so it can actually push in as you're jumping on it. You gotta be a little bit careful. Pull it out and jump over. Yeah. Well, not quite. That might be enough. Oh. You can also pull it out while you're on it. She does, I guess. Not too bad. And then from there, you just scroll under there, and you're out. Onto the next area.
This level was created by Logan Holloway. The player will start out in front of this factory surrounded by hills. They'll come to a locked door where they have to find the key. Key be found underneath this crate the player can grab. There are other collectibles hidden out here. Once the key is collected, the player can walk up to the door, use E to interact with it. There's audio that accompanies it. In this room, there's collectibles hidden throughout here. One is on the pipe above the door. The player can stack boxes to get up to. Same for the other office on the other side. And to the left of the office, there's also a vent that the player can uncover by moving the boxes with a grab-and-all. And they'll find a collectible inside of there. Here the player will encounter boards that block this broken window. They can use a physics object such as the box or themselves to break through the boards. After breaking through the boards, the player will drop down through the window. They will be prompted to restore power to the facility and find the blueprints, which is their main intent for coming to this place. You can see through this window, there's the generator room. The vault doors here on the floor can't be opened. And the back door, which also cannot be opened. The player can walk up this ladder to climb it. in here, underneath that box, is a collectible. And here's the button to open the vault, but it will not work unless the power has been restored. Simply moving this with the grab null and get to the collectible underneath. You can go go back down the ladder by walking up to it like I did before, or jumping down. These boxes can be removed to reveal a secret path to the generator room by use of the grab null. And here's a generator that is being jammed by a metal bar, so the player must use a physics object to dislodge the bar, or using the grab null. There is a collectible hidden underneath the other crate here. The player can move and grab. Now the power has been restored, the player can return to the control room when they wish. Which will cause this vault specifically to open. There is a collectible on top of that shelf over there that can be built to using more blocks by the player. As the player interacts with the console by hitting E, it will cause the vault door to open, which has an accompanying sound. There are multiple scrap collectibles hidden in this vault for the player to collect, as well as the blueprint on a pedestal. which will cause the back door to unlock for the player.
Alright, this is Seth Brody, and this is my part of the level. You have your item right here to the right of the stairs. You can go straight in, go to the first puzzle. You solve this puzzle, figure out which door to go through. Once you go to the right door, your item will be behind this little crate. Go back throughout the door. If you go through the wrong doors, you will die to radiation poisoning. So make sure you go through the right door. If you go to your left over here, you will see that there's radiation in this room. It's a hazardous room. You want to get the uranium that's in this corner over here to your left, and then if you want to, you can get the one on the right, but it's not needed. Get this item right here. There are also items in these corners over here, but you can go up the stairs if you'd prefer to go up the stairs first. However you want to do it. These boxes are making it slightly difficult for you to get these items. You can move the boxes out of the way, or you can just try and run through them. It takes more time if you try to run through them though. This is the second floor. There's a couple of different items you can get to. Once you get those items, you can jump over this crate right here, go to your left, open this door. This is the second puzzle room right here, so you will be able to solve this puzzle, choose the right door. Again, your item will be behind the door that you choose, as long as it is the right door. And again, if you do go through the wrong door, you will die to radiation poisoning, so make sure you go through the right door. There's this item right here that's also in this room. Once you get this item, you can go out the store. Go to your left, and then if you go into this room, there's another uranium in here. Again, the room is radiation, so you have to be careful. If you do die, you can just run back. The spawn's not too far. The uranium is in the left corner. There's also an item in the right. It's easier to kind of jump over the boxes if you can. They're just at the right height to where you can just make it. You can move them too, but again, this room has radiation, so that takes more time. This is the third level. You want to move this box to the side, push this forward, get it out of your way, open this door. This is going to be the third puzzle room. Again, you solve the puzzle. Once you solve the puzzle, you can go to the room that you believe is the door. And if your item's behind that door, you can get it. If not, you go into the room, you will die to radiation. And that is it for the puzzle room. Once you take this room, you go back out the door. There are a couple different items you can go to that are also kind of spread out on this floor also, if you want to get those items. If not, there is the uranium that's still in the room. When you go out this door, you will go to the right. You will take another right, go straight. You go straight into that room. There's uranium in the left corner. There's also uranium in the, or not uranium, but there's a random item in the right corner. So those are also two items you should get before you leave this level. So going out this door, you will be able to jump past this board. You can get this item across. Again, sometimes you can't jump over the boxes, sometimes you do have to move them a little bit out of the way. You want to go to your left, you can either jump, try to get through this one. This one's a little harder to get through. The easier one is to the right, if you want to try the easier one. Go to the right, jump over this small one right here. You can go into this room. This room has the uranium and the other item that I was talking about earlier. Moving this box can be kind of difficult trying to get into this room. You can also push it forward if you can't run past it or jump past it. The roof kind of makes it hard to be able to jump past it, but you should be able to push it into the room, and once you push it into the room, you're actually able to get by. Of course, again, this is a hazardous room, so it will take away your health when you go into it. So make sure you're careful of that. It will spawn you at the last checkpoint, which is, again, not too far. So right now, you're back at the checkpoint. You can run back with full health. Go into this room. Grab both items. And then try to get out of the room. If not able to, you'll go back to the spawn. Take a left up here, and that will bring you to the end of my level. Alright, thank you.
So this is my area of the level. My name's Kurt Irwin. The scrapper's here on a helipad, and he's arrived at the area from the previous one. His PDA's dead, so he's gonna go try out the. Well, he's instructed to try out the door first, but he's gonna go to the shed and grab the battery out of the shed. And after he has the battery, the PDA is gonna wake up and tell him that it's able to now open the door. And so the scrapper is going to be able to open the door with the steam valves, but he's free to explore out here. There's a collectible behind those boxes, but this shed is not able to be entered. The door is blocked. So here the scrapper finds a piece of old tech. If he goes into the grass, it's kind of well hidden. Here the scrapper has to keep the needle of the valve in between the two bands. As long as it's in between the two bands, then the door is going to be able to continue falling. If the scrapper keeps it too high, the door will snap shut like you just saw. But as long as he keeps it in between the two bands, it'll slowly fall. And once the door is all the way down, it'll lock in place, but if you stop earlier, it won't let you cross. So here the scrapper's still trying to get the door to open all the way. And it's able to now duck under the catwalk. And get out to the other side. So he's able to get the piston to come up if he does the left-hand valve. The right-hand valve will stop it. And the goal is for the piston to be about the midway height. When it gets to the midway height, the scrapper will want to stop it so he can hop across. That valve will reset the level, so the scrapper will be able to start again. So now that the scrapper's done both valves, he's going to have to go back to the reset valve. So it's absolutely possible to jump onto the valve and not stop it. And as long as you time it right, you can make it across that way. And so that's what our player here is going to do. And hopefully times it right. And it's too late. So he's going to have to reset the piston again. So now our player is going to be able to get to the catwalk and continue on. Once again, there's a steam valve for a door, but this one he can't budge because it's rusted tight. He's going to have to find a wrench to open it. Now the player is going to be able to access the door just as he did previously. Now here the player needs to get all the flappers down. Each of the 3 valves will move 2 of the flaps, and so the player will have to find the right order. So here the player is going to try to leap across without having all of the flaps in place, and because the ceiling's so low, they're going to find it real difficult. It's not clear to the player that all the flappers can be positioned, so the player is trying to find a way to wiggle across on the thin little area in between where one of the flappers has gone down. It's possible that'll work for the player, but it's not the ideal way across. And the players finally got them all and go across. So in this next room, there's going to be steam leaking out of all the pipes, and the player's going to need to avoid it, or he's going to be injured and have to be reset. Here the player's going to need to duck underneath the steam. Now the player's just going to go to the left. Now the player's PDA is powered again. So down this hall there's the last steam valve door where the player's going to have to keep the needle in the band again. This time the needle will vary quite a bit. It's a little harder to keep in the band. And once the door is opened all the way, the player will have to jump across. So now the player's got to time his jump just right to reach the other side. And here the player has 4 pistons that are down that keep him from crossing underneath, and 4 valves, each one that'll open one piston and close another. And the player will have to do it in the right order so that the valves he uses to open pistons don't also close once he's already opened. So once again, the player's got a reset valve he can use for when the puzzle gets stuck. Each of the valves that's showing steam out of it's already been used. Now the player's going to be able to cross underneath. And the PDA will notify the player that to his right is where he needs to go up the elevator. but apparently the player missed that, so they'll grab the fuel container so they can leave the level. And that will allow him to refuel his rotorcraft and get back in the air. So because the player never opened the door all the way, it didn't lock shut, so now they're kind of stuck in the level. So at this point the player is just trying to figure out how to leave the level. They're not going to be able to.